Okay, we keep on going. Probably we're going to have two videos, but anyway, I will upload both of them. Okay, Unit 3 is dedicated to teaching children children literature. And we have been seeing this a little bit in different moments, and every activity we did was intended for you to think how would you use it when teaching children. And this is what we have been doing. So we have been recognizing activities that integrate language skills and in which you can use all of the elements that we have been discussing. So we have been discussing reading strategies, engaging ways to read to children, interactive read aloud, elements of literature, elements in the stories. What else? Creative follow-up activities like creative writing based on the story. So everything, all of these elements can be used to teach literature to children, but not only literature, but also language. And you can focus on different elements of language. Dr. Seuss stories are very, very simple, but they teach a lot of adjectives, for example, to little children, colors, sizes, positions here, there. And so it's very creative in that sense and can be used a lot with children, not only English language learners, but also native speakers. And so it's great literature to teach to children for many reasons. And the project will come later, yes, in which you develop an activity in which you integrate the language skills that we are going to see now in a children's narration book and in the activity of reading aloud to children. So, the estándar pedagógico 4 se define cómo diseñar e implementar estrategias de enseñanza-aprendizaje. Y este es un estándar que lo van a ver mucho en todos estos módulos en los que se aprende acerca de la enseñanza, especialmente a niños de escuela básica. Okay, we're going to discuss a lot next year as well. Okay, so in this activity, how do we integrate the 4 skills? And here we talked last week about integrating the skills, and we gave an example like role playing, in which you integrate reading, for example. If you're doing some role playing, probably students have read something about the topic. It could be this, I don't know, the cinema, the movie theater schedule, right? Then they could have listened to some ad on Spotify about the new movie, yes? And then they need to write down the dialogue they are going to have about that movie they want to watch, and do the role play by speaking that dialogue, by acting it out. So in role playing, you can include all of the skills. You can include all of the skills and practice a little bit of each with children of different ages. Of course, we know that younger children write less. They are learning to write, and you will see this in second year about that. But they can integrate the other skills. Okay, and why do you think it's good to integrate the skills? We said last week, we teach the skills in a complementary way, and that's okay. But why else do teachers of English or teachers that teach English integrate the skills? And you have lived this at school when you were students as well. Why do you think that teachers integrate the skills? Why else?
I remember that they show us videos or sometimes music and we have to listening.
Mhm. But why? Why did the teacher do this when you were at school? Why did teachers do teachers integrate? And here also this module, you do some writing, you do listening with the videos that you watch, you read, you have read about reading strategies, for example, you speak in your videos. Why do you think we go around the skills? Because is that the way real life is like? Do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I,
The integration of skills, yes, resembles real life. And this is what you do in Spanish as well. You read, you listen, what else do you do in Spanish? You write and you speak. And whenever you start the modules in Spanish, you will see what I mean. All of the modules will include all of the skills, whether they are in English or in Spanish. So the integration of skills resemble real life. And that's what we do every day in our lives, every day, in our studies, whenever we are at school and college. So the integration resembles real life activities and the use of language and the real use of language. In Spanish, you read the blog, then you listen to, you watch a video on that topic in YouTube, and then you can write answer in some topic in the blog. So you're all the time applying all of the development of your skills in your mother tongue. And this is also what we try to do in the English class. Nevertheless, there are courses that have been created for specific purposes that dedicate to one skill. For example, like in the other careers at the University of Talca, many students can do reading courses, for example, in medical school, just because students in medical school need to read, research, updates that come in English, that are written in English. And therefore, they need to strengthen one skill over others. For example, reading. Reading is a skill that many professions need, and therefore special courses can be created around one skill. But whenever we are teaching English, mainly to children, adolescents, we try to integrate skills, yes, because that's the way in which life happens. Real life activities occur. Okay. So here we have an example of an activity. So a few minutes, even in few minutes in this video, you can watch how the teacher already integrates skills with young learners. Yes, they are not so young, but they are, I think, in third grade, around third grade. What do you predict? What do these children do? They are going to read a book called Superpotamus. Some of you already watched some minutes of the story, of the video. So what do you think students do in this video? What do you remember? Do you remember?
no, I don't.
Okay, we can watch some minutes. It's just a few minutes. You discover how the teacher already works with the students by integrating the skills. Yeah, so it's not that she only reads and they listen, for example. It's not a reading activity only. It's not a listening activity only. So they do many different they integrate the other skills as well. And this is something that you can watch teachers in Spanish too today in schools, but not today, but those that face-to-face classes, that occurs. Okay. That occurs in classes, yes, in Spanish as well. Okay, so this is the teacher.
That helps us to understand what we're reading is asking questions. So as we read, we wonder about things and we start questioning before we've even started reading a book. So today we're going to look at a book at the beginning before we start reading it. We're going to look at that same story as we read or during our reading, and then we're going to look at the book at the end. And we're going to ask I wonder questions all the way through. You have a clipboard and 3 different sticky notes. So before we start reading, we're going to use our blue sticky note. During our story, we're going to use our green sticky note. And after we're finished reading our story, we're going to use the large yellow sticky note. While you look at the cover of the book, you're going to immediately have questions in your head that you wonder about. Use your blue sticky note to write down whatever you're wondering. Take a look at the pictures, but also take a look at the title or any words that you see. Turn to the person beside you and share your question.
I wonder why his name is Superponic.
Well, okay, so a little bit more than 1 minute. You already have the skills. So which skills can you see that the teacher includes in the class? Okay. What do students do first? Well, you have some help here.
Listen her.
Yes, they listen. First of all, they listen to instructions, the introduction of the activity. Then students write questions, the pre-reading questions, and we saw this when we talked about the different strategies for reading. Do you remember? And then they talk to each other about the predictions for the story. Okay, and then, of course, what is going to come afterwards? We know the reading itself. Yes, so the students can read, teacher reads. And so you can see this in the video that all of the skills are used. And this is happening today, as we said, or happened last year in face-to-face classes in schools everywhere, yes, with little children in elementary school. This is what they do every day. So this is what you normally see. The only thing is that now you pay attention because you are going to organize your own activity. So now you have to be conscious of the different skills. And so the teacher gives instructions, yes, and the skills that they are developing. Okay. If you have to compare, you can say that integrated skills allows more practice with the target language. So the students are reading, listening, writing, speaking the language. Whereas if we only teach reading, for example, that would limit the practice. Yes, and for example, our students in medical school will only learn to read and probably listen to talks, yes, to specific, on a specific topics, but probably they won't be able to speak. And this happens a lot with adults. This is a great example with adults who know how to read in their profession, but do not know how to speak in the language, in English, especially in English. Then this is more natural approach. As we said, this happens in real life. Whereas this is more artificial. Language is used in an unnatural approach or for specific purposes only, but not for real life purposes. Okay. So now I wanted to tell me whether you right. So now let us think. Next is the project. So the project is a group work. I created a template for you to describe each step of this project, of this activity, and so that it's easier for you to plan, to organize it, to write it down. Yes? So this is what you're going to do. You are going to design one integrated activity. Yes? So you think of an activity in which you integrate, yes, the skills: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Yes, most of the videos you have watched integrate all of these three, but writing sometimes is left aside, especially with very little children. But you can also include some writing, basic writing, even when they are in their younger stage, in their early stages of learning the language. But with interactive read aloud, we have watched videos in which students listen to the teacher and listen to the story, or read together with the teacher, and also speak about what they have been reading. So those three are always integrated. This one we have just watched, this video, includes writing. These are older children. They are around 7, 8. They know how to write. And the teacher creates that space for writing because she wants them to pay attention to these questions, to the pre-reading questions, while reading questions, and after reading questions, for them to develop the writing skill. So sometimes you have to be be specific in creating that opportunity, so that the activity includes writing. Okay, so you have to pay attention then to select the strategy to transmit, and this is something we saw in classes. So you saw examples of reading aloud, yes, just reading the stories aloud. You have seen examples of interactive read aloud in which students participate actively. Yes, can you see my screen? Can you see the screen now?
Yes, now.
Okay, yes. So you have to tell me, sometimes I see colors here, and sometimes I don't see it. So we said integrated activity with all the skills, yes? And you have to decide how to transmit these literary narrations by reading aloud, and you have seen examples in which just you read aloud. The interactive read aloud, in which students participate actively with mimics, with questions, with oral questions, with dialogues in the middle of the activity, or storytelling with small objects that we watched Professora Carla explain to us. So you decide on one way, yes, on one of these strategies. That's the first decision. Then you keep on going, and then you work in groups to develop the activity and apply everything you have been doing, we have been doing little by little in the module. So for example, you create the resources. We talked about materials for the teacher and students. You can also have different elements that Professora Carla showed us. Do you remember? She taught us, for example, to choose elements that would represent the different characters, or you can create the characters themselves. Whatever other resource, any other materials that you think are useful. A handout, for example, also some some task, una tarea, something that the students will complete while reading or before reading or after reading. That's up to you, yes? Then you need to apply the strategies and you know them. You have an example here in this video. So you will apply the strategies pre-reading and you know more the pre-reading strategies. For example, you know Snoopy, go back to that PPT, and in that presentation you have lots of strategies while reading strategies and after reading strategies. And you spoke about this in your video, so you have plenty of examples about this. You know them very well. Then you select a technique to read, and you have a list of techniques in your task number 3. You have a lot of techniques, how you module your voice, how you change your voice, how you create sound effects. You have many others, yes. Ways to catch, yes, engage the students catch the attention of children. Remember that they can lose the attention very quickly. Okay. Yes, we have a question. Vanessa, do you have a question?
Teacher, is so we have to take a test. I mean,
Pardon?
how to create a class.
How to create. It's an activity, yes. For this reading activity, you're going to decide all of these elements. Yes? We will repeat, do not worry. So then you apply, you can also use your knowledge about the structure. And remember, we talked about the characters. Remember the different elements of the story. You can pay attention to work with children. You can pay attention to characters, to the setting, the conflict, the resolution of the conflict, and the themes, the values, and the symbols, for example, if you decide to do that. And then follow up writing activities to show understanding, what we did with our writing activity. That's an example. In your presentations, you also created other follow-up activities like planting seeds, going to the park and doing something that's also an after reading activity. But thinking that we are applying all of the skills, we can do something that is more related to writing, even if it is very basic, according to the level of the students. Okay, so now I can see that I am not sharing. Sometimes I cannot see. Okay, so these are all of the elements that you have seen along the semester that you need to put together in your activity, because you have to decide. Each story is different and each story will be treated differently and taught differently to children. So here is also your creativity on how you read that story to children. Okay, so here you just see the template. We are going to see it in the Word document now. And this is a reflective outline. And the reflective outline tries to help you organize the activity that you're going to do. Yeah? Very similar to planning. You still do not have planning lessons. So you do not know that, but you can think of different elements that your activity needs. Okay, so you go step by step. Okay, so here we have the outline. So it's a short outline that will help you pay attention to the elements of your activity. So first of all, you write your names, the date, the grade is different if it is first grade, 8th grade, the age of students, if they are 10, 12, 6. And there also the choice of your book. So this is an example. Yes, we were writing last Thursday. So we have 1 fish, 2 fish, blue fish, yellow fish. So this is probably a book for 6-year-olds. Yeah, so probably we'll write here. We'll write, oh, so. Is, I know, sorry. 6 to 7-year-olds. Yes. Year-olds, English learners can do this activity because they will learn about colors, about adjectives in general vocabulary in general. And then we will write the activity, and this is something you learned to do. So you have the PowerPoints with these explanations, and we wrote together several objectives. Do you remember this? ¿Se acuerdan que vimos los objetivos? ¿Cómo se escribían? Están en los PowerPoints. So you need to go back and check. Okay? Everything is uploaded to the campus. Everything is related to what we saw together in classes. And what do we need for this objective? We need an action verb, a verb that indicates an action, something I can see, observable behavior. And there in the PowerPoints, you have the examples of verbs that you cannot use because they don't imply observable behavior. And so that's why you're going to do your draft and you're going to send to me for feedback, okay? Then you decide the content that you're going to teach, which is this content, for example. So here we decided describe, yes? Describe is an observable action. I can watch, yes, listen to people describe something. Fish and other creatures. So this is a content. So I'm going to focus on these creatures of the book. So there are some creatures like the Grinch, I think that's from there. There are fish, and there are other characters. Yes, this is only an example. And then you add a lexicon or a vocabulary pattern. Lexicon, vocabulary, and grammar patterns. Sorry, yes. So I will choose some topic of English within the English language to teach these students. So I'm going to teach about fish, other creatures, by using qualifying adjectives. So I will choose this vocabulary item to teach. Yes, items. Yes. So in this case, but I can choose something else. I can choose nouns, yes, sustantivos. In this case, I am choosing adjectives, adjetivos. I can choose some grammar pattern, the present simple, the present progressive. Whatever it is that I choose, I have to write it down in the objective. This is something we are going to repeat until 3rd year. So you will be practicing this a lot, but this is your beginning. Do you understand up to now? Do you understand? Do you have any questions? Any questions? So this is... ¿Questions? Vanessa, no, ahora no, por ahora no. Okay, so no questions, but you have this explanation and more examples in your PPT presentation, so please check them. Yes, we have seen all of this in class. Nothing is new. Absolutely nothing is new. Okay, so I will leave this here just as an example, but you will write something different. Okay, then within the communicative language teaching, we are going to enlarge about this next year. You're using the literature-based method because it is intended to teach English, especially language patterns, yes, vocabulary, through literature. That's why it is called the literature-based method. So it's already done. Everyone will have the same. And then you decide on the strategy you're going to use. And here is where you choose whether it's just storytelling, interactive read aloud, or the storytelling with a small object. So you choose one and you write it here. Remember, you already decided here the book. Yes. And here you complete the data. Yes. You write the title of the book, the author, and illustrator. Remember that when readers prepare their videos on YouTube, for example, you have seen this, that they write the title, the author, and the illustrator. You write here. Then you say, how are you going to respect others? So you're going to give participation to your class, to the students. Then you will collaborate because you're 2 or 3. There's one group with 3 people. You're collaborating with your classmates. So here is where you decide who is doing what. So Vanessa is going to read, and I don't know who are you working with. Vanessa, Paola, I don't know, is going to prepare the materials. So you collaborate. Yes, how we are going to collaborate. And you create this environment of collaboration. Okay. Then this is the activity. So this is everything here is just the preparation. Yes. Okay. This is adapted from other activity plans that have been done already by other previous students. So this is adapted. Okay. Then you go to the content of the activity. And here is where you repeat the objective. Yes, so we will be checking they are very well written here and here. Yes. Then how are you going to warm up? How are you going to prepare that activity? Remember, we are teaching, so we are learning about fish and other creatures and by using the adjectives. So which warm-up element do I need? Just think, brainstorm for an example. Remember, students need to prepare for the activity. What do you need to do first? What do you do? Come on. Come on, any ideas? We are brainstorming so that then you can do this with your classmates. What do you think?
My questions.
Think that students need to, for example, see some visual clues, images. What else do you have in books? Here, in order to motivate, as Vanessa was saying, in order to motivate, they can ask questions, previous knowledge. Remember in some videos, we saw one of the teachers asking about other books they already knew about this author. So for example, in case students know, they can talk about other books by Dr. Seuss, other stories. Yes. So the students are motivated to read this new book. So for example, Dr. Seuss has lots of creative characters that are very crazy, very extroverted, and so children like this. Or such an author has lots of characters that are monsters or that do something creative, so students are motivated by this. So some motivational element can be something they already know, they already like, some topic they might like. For example, what can motivate little children? Which topic? We saw an example, I think, with monsters.
Superhero.
Superheroes, excellent, Vanessa. So Superpotamus in this video we have just watched is a topic they like. Excellent. So superheroes, monsters, something that is apparently scary. Children like that. Okay, so superheroes, excellent. Superheroes, a motivating topic. Something that is scary can be motivating. Something related to school can be motivating, depending on what. So you think, yes, what is that motivational element? And then you think of instructions. Remember the teachers you have watched. Teachers give instructions, so pay attention to the story. What else is an instruction? Think of questions. What else is an instruction? Think questions. Then after they think about the questions, what do they do? What do they do after think? What else do you do after thinking the questions? Thinking about the questions. You apply your skills. Which skill are you going to apply? What do you do after thinking? You write, probably?
Or makes them
Ask, ask the questions orally or write down the questions. Perfect. It's also only an example. You think of your activity, yes? And the activity is going to tell you which is the order of your instructions. And then how do you end up the activity? So you do the pre-reading, yes, the warm-up, the reading, the while reading, the instructions, and then how do you end your activity? How do you go the post-reading activities? After reading, remember, after reading.
some activity related to
Yes, some yes, follow-up activities, like for example, we had lots of examples about this. Follow-up activities like outdoor activities. In the cases of the seed, I remember your example. Outdoor activities, writing activities, as we said, writing something new, creating something new, writing, creating, painting, presenting. You have many ways in which you can end that reading activity. So is it clearer for you? Is it clearer for you what you're writing? You're writing everything you decide to do. It's like making decisions and writing down, clarifying everything you will do. Okay, we will stop. Yeah. Okay, then after we keep on analyzing the Word document. Here in the reading strategies, you're going to write which strategies, and some of them you already have. Yes. So asking questions about previous knowledge is something you already you already thought about, yes? Asking questions about previous knowledge. And you will never be wrong because this is always done. Then you have to decide the while reading activities. What will you do here while reading? Are you going to focus on vocabulary, as we were saying? Are you going to focus on grammar? It depends on what you decide here in your objective. Are you going to focus on characters, on events, on whatever you need to decide? And the after reading, as we said here, are you going to do something outdoors, something physical, something related to writing, something related to creativity, to some creative activity? So it's up to you. So here you write all of them. Some of them you have already mentioned. Remember, everything is coherent. So if you mention this here, you mention then it here. Then which technique are you going to decide? For example, you can decide to read, if we have two characters, each of you read one character, that's a technique, and you change the voices, or you decide to use lots of sound effects, like knocking at the door, then rain, and you pour some water, or you decide. It's up to you. If you have a storm, if you have a rain, if you have birds that are singing, you decide on that. Yes. Here you write this down. You have them in your task, so you just check which technique and you write it here. Okay, so can you see my word? So can you see the Word document? So I go one by one, all of the elements that we have learned in the module. Yes? Okay, yes, now you can see. Yes, sometimes it tells me. Okay, so here you write all of your strategies. Yes, pre-reading, while reading, after reading. Here you write all your techniques. As I said, if you decide to read different participants, read different characters, and you change your voices, you change I don't know, whatever, as I said, the sound, the effects, or if you decide to add music to whatever, you're free. This is very creative, so everything is acceptable. Remember, you have watched many read alouds in read aloud videos in YouTube, and you have different examples. You have with music, without music, with sound effects, without sound effects, different people reading. So you have different ones here. Then which structure and key elements are you going to point out? So remember, you have a task. So you go back to that task and you check whether you're going to focus on events, on characters. Are you going to talk about the themes, the message, the symbols? What are you going to pay attention to here? Yes, and you have a whole task with all of these elements. The conflict, the resolution of the conflict, the whatever, yes, all of them, the message, as we said in the carrot seed, the most important is the message. So I need to focus on that, on the theme, on that message. How can I enlarge, think of a follow-up for children? Then a writing activity. Yes, here we thought of different follow-up activities, but if you think of something writing, because we are thinking of all the skills, so think a writing activity the students can do at different levels. So 6-year-olds can do one writing activity, 12-year-olds can do something different. So something in order to integrate writing, because that's the most difficult and that needs more development. Yes. So think of the level of this writing activity that you can do. Then how are the students going to interact Remember that this is a reading activity, but you can do an interactive reading activity in which students participate. So what are the students going to do in that participation? Yes, students going to ask questions, do role plays, act out, do some activities. I don't know, some interaction. Are they going to work in groups, individually, in pairs? What do students do during this activity? And then the materials. As we said, materials include, for example, objects that represent the characters or the characters themselves, pictures. What else are materials? Pictures. What else? What are the materials teachers create? Think. Materials, handouts, tasks, exercises of different kinds, written exercises. So all of those are the materials you will need for the activity. And then some questions about what did you learn from this activity. Okay, so we will see now some highlights, yes, and some agreements. But I want you to, so we can see now the PPT again. So we see some agreements. And if we have to add something, you tell me. Okay, agreements. So you need to complete the activity plan project and upload it for feedback. This Word document. I am checking where are you going to upload it? I think, no, it's not week 13, so I have to change that. So you will upload it in week 14, this week. Okay? So week 14, I made a mistake. This is 14. So this Word document will have a task on week 14. So you need to complete from today, tomorrow, over the weekend, so that I can give you feedback. Is that clear? Necesitamos completarlo durante el fin de semana para que pueda yo darle feedback. Estoy dando 2 feedbacks ya, de escritura y de este proyecto, porque ya no tenemos mucho más tiempo. Okay. Prepare yourselves, yes, for the and the activities. Yeah? So after you have your feedback, you prepare yourselves for this activity with the materials. Remember the logistics that you need. Organize with your classmates. How are you going to do the reading? So then the time limit is around 7 minutes, which I think is more than enough. Okay, this is the time limit. So first of all, you prepare yourselves. Then you include necessary support, pictures, images, other videos, whatever support you need. So think, discuss, you're planning. Yes, you're planning for every detail. You decide on the PPT, if you're going to present a template, everything is your creation, everything is your decision. And then the time limit around 7 minutes, which I think is fine, everyone can do. Then participants in the pair or groups are required to participate equally. So if you're 3 people, the 3 of you needs to participate. So you read one section, you appear in some way doing something in the video. Then you collaborate, of course, in the preparation. Of course, we know that is the backstage. But in the video, I need to listen to 3 voices. If you're 3 or 2 of you, if you're Then you use the software, you know, these are only suggestions, you know about the software. And the final video needs to be ready before Christmas because otherwise I need to grade them. Yes. So remember that next Thursday, 17th, we can meet again or talk about this activity, about your doubts for the video, so that you have time to finish it the next weekend. Yes, up to the 23rd of December. Then there is a checklist that you will have for grading. Yes. And the videos will be uploaded to a forum and you will comment, yes, on your classmates' videos. Remember that the earlier the better, because I need to have the grades finished in the week of the 28th. So we really don't have so much time. Okay, so how do we organize ourselves? And I have been telling you for many weeks to organize your pairs. If you want to work alone, it's fine. Francisco, please decide if you're working with someone, with anyone. Emilia was working, and probably Lucia will work alone, I'm not sure. But Emilia works during the days of the week, so it's difficult for her to meet. Anyway, these other people are already in groups, and you need to collaborate and work together in this preparation. Do we need to think of something else? Necesitamos otros acuerdos here.
What
So
about
plenty
portfolio?
of time, but you don't have time to lose. Yes, no, you are working every day on something. Yes, Vanessa? Your question?
Portfolio.
¿Qué pregunta, Vanessa?
What about the portfolio?
Portfolio. Yes, we will we'll talk about that. So this is about the project. Okay. About the rest of activities. So make sure, yes, completed assignments, number 1, 2, 3, 4, are included in the portfolio. The portfolio is due tomorrow, but you will have a week to upload the portfolio. Yes? So upload your complete portfolios, completed portfolios on the corresponding task on week 14. Yes, this week I will create today, in the week 14 today, I will create the task. Then check the writing workshop. Everything we explained about your writing needs to be finished. Yes, it needs to be finished. Yes, so check the writing workshop and the PPT to choose your follow-up activity and write your draft for feedback. Yes. Okay, for feedback. Upload your draft, your first draft to the task on week 12. Esto ya estaba hecho desde la semana 2, hace 2 semanas estaba esto. Yo voy viendo 4 escritos, 5 con el de Romina, que yo le sugerí que lo cambie. Pero Romina, aquí puedes enviarme la nueva versión, ¿sí? La semana 12, ahí está la tarea. Ok, so, la tarea para para el primer borrador. ¿Ok? So, esta tarea ha estado largo tiempo. Por eso que yo le digo, no hay un día que yo no esté trabajando, porque se nos están acumulando tareas. Bien. The final version of the writing activity is due tomorrow, ¿verdad? En esta semana, pero si recién están haciendo la primera versión, yo doy feedback y lo terminan el fin de semana, porque tienen que focalizarse en el proyecto. Is that clear? Boys and girls, guys. Entonces va a haber, so upload. Upload your final versions on the to the corresponding task. Your final versions to the corresponding task on Educandos. Week 14. Ok. O sea, esto ha estado 2 semanas. Yo los espero. No quiero que nadie salga perjudicado, pero son ustedes los que tienen que trabajar. Is that clear? You have to work. Ven, los pares están elegidos. Faltarían 2 personas, 3 personas. Please, do it. If not, you work alone. I don't have any problem. Yeah? This is an option to work in pairs. But if you want to work alone, if it is better for you, it's okay. I accept it. Then, next Thursday, students who still have doubts will be invited to meet and ask questions. So I will send you again a link to talk about the project. Yes, still have doubts about the project. Okay, so next Thursday is to talk about the project. If you have doubts, I have to have I need to have your, as I said, completed portfolios, the writing, the feedback, yes? I need to have your activity planned, ¿sí? Necesito el primer plan, ¿ok? Para dar feedback. Y así hablamos el próximo jueves ya con los últimos detalles. All right, so complete the activity plan for the project and upload it for feedback to the corresponding task on Educandos week 14. So today I will create this I will create this task. So I have lots of tasks on week 14. Doesn't matter, it's okay. And then next Thursday, students who still have doubts about the project will be invited to meet and ask questions. And just prepare the final elements for your video. And that will be the end of your evaluations for the module.